Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of the Level 70 show. My name's Ryan, and joining me today is Rob.
Hello there.
We're going to be bringing you a weekly podcast with gaming news, reviews of recent releases, interviews with special guests, hopefully a bit of bants, and much more. Also, a little further down the line, we're going to be having a mystery game developer coming on board who has published some fairly successful titles on Steam. One of them being an officially licensed Half-Life expansion by Gaben himself. And no, it's not Hunt Down the Freeman. We'll
God, hope not.
We'll definitely look to have a Q&A session with him once he's with us, if that's something you guys are interested in. Maybe some of you are aspiring developers, or maybe you'd like to find out more about the development of those games, or what it's like being a Steam developer in general. So yeah, make sure you to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Let us know in the comments if you think you know who it is. Okay, so this week we're going to go over a few of the notable news stories of the week and decide where to place the very first game on our wall of fame and or shame. The game that we place is usually a new release and we've been playing over the past week, which in this case is Destroy All Humans. So, without further ado, on to the news, Rob.
Cheers, Ryan. The news this week has been, I'd say, pretty exciting, really, for the industry. There's obviously, let's start with the Microsoft's disastrous Xbox showcase. Did you watch it?
I didn't. Tell me more.
Well, just the whole kind of thing looked like they didn't really know what they were doing, lack of direction. They kept saying, oh, yes, gameplay, but most of it was CG trailers, wasn't really much gameplay. Then there's the whole selling point of the new Xbox. Like, they weren't too sure. Like, what's it going to be? Is it going to be like dedicated new games for the Xbox, or is it going to be more of a gradual sort of process? Yeah, just I watched it and I wasn't really impressed by it. A lot of the fans weren't either. And then there's some strange news as well, like stopping 12 months Xbox live subscriptions for whatever reason. Then it was stopping the production of Xbox One X, which I think was the most powerful console ever. Still is, maybe, at the moment. Yeah, just a really weird show, really.
Would you normally do the 12-month subscription, or what would you
Well,
personally?
it's normally the best value for money, but I don't personally use Live that much, so I do the 3 months at a time, but all my friends do 12 months a year, so...
And so what? Most of the games are just trailers, like not gameplay footage, sort of thing.
Yeah, just trailers. And the gameplay ones that were there were obviously weren't very well received, like Halo, which is honestly the next story, really. Halo Infinite. It just looked a bit naff. Like, the graphics weren't great, and there's been loads of evidence of saying, oh, it's an old demo, so it's old gameplay,
Yeah,
which is perfectly okay, but even so, like, the game's almost out. It's a few months. Can they really do that much in a few months,
I heard, a lot of complaints about the graphics. People saying they were flat, sort of last gen. I have seen it, and yeah, I do kind of see what they're saying. From my perspective, Halo has never really been about the graphics, but obviously that's what people want
Oh, I don't know
nowadays.
about that. I mean, you say that, but Halo 1 on the original Xbox, that was the groundbreaking Xbox FPS game, for the visuals, for the gameplay.
I suppose it's wrong to say it's never been about the graphics, but it has always been that the gameplay is what's made it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been different gameplay, I suppose. Big levels, sort of like sandboxy, but not open world. I guess it was quite unique for its time. But yeah, but the new one, like I say, Infinite, they've gone open world as well, which again is like pissed off some fans because the market's just full of open world games at the moment, right? So another one is like, oh gosh, not another one,
Yeah, I did hear about that. A YouTube channel I do watch, Digital Foundry, did do a bit of a piece about and the graphics presentation. They were saying that it seems to be the case that the graphics look largely to be flat because the gameplay
Lighting, isn't
footage,
it?
yeah, the gameplay footage itself seems to be mostly shot in shadows. So that's not really done them any favors. So whoever directed that might be in a bit of trouble. But yeah, check out the video from Digital Foundry on that if you're interested in the technicals. But yeah, from what I saw, I think the gameplay looks good. But yeah, the graphics did look dull. But like I say, that might be because of the whole shadows thing. But it's either way, it seems to be pretty sloppy on their behalf for putting
Well,
that
there's
out.
even that meme about the whole, the brute looks like a gorilla now. You seen that meme?
I haven't.
That's
I'll
everywhere.
put it on
That's
screen.
everywhere now. Put it on screen when you can. It's actually pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, there's been other reports about Halo Infinite saying the reason why it looks kind of poor is because it had to work on Xbox One, the One S, the Xbox One X, and the new Xbox. So it's kind of a bit of a confused game. It's not really
Yeah,
built for.
built for last gen as well.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see how it turns out. I'm personally not very hopeful, but it could be really good. It could be amazing. So
Halo's never
the next
disappointed me.
one,
So
yeah, I suppose so. They recently released Halo 3 on PC, right, as well.
yeah, Master Chief
Yeah,
Collection, loving it.
that's the one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, the next news story I saw was Black Ops Cold War has finally been kind of leaked. It's the next Black Ops game. Apparently, it's a soft reboot of Black Ops, so that could be cool. Black Ops 4, personally, I thought was again terrible. So
What's a soft
a
reboot?
reboot will be good. A soft reboot, how to explain? It's kind of like a reboot, but it's also not a full reboot. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
A reboot is in remaster or like remake?
how Indiana Jones 4 was a soft reboot of that franchise, even though it was kind of a sequel as well. You know what I mean?
Right. So it's like they're flogging a dead horse a little bit, or
Possibly. Well, again, we'll soon find out. But anything's better than Black Ops 4, so I'm not too fussed about this one really.
personally, I
The
haven't
next
really
one.
played much COD since Modern Warfare 2, so I'm kind of out of the loop on COD affairs. But yeah,
Did you play
truth,
the remaster of that?
truth be told, I haven't even played like the Warzone.
Not even play Warzone. You
No,
heathen! Please leave this call now. You disgusting person.
sorry. I don't
Disgusting.
know. It just lost its appeal. Like Modern Warfare 2 was everything, and then it just I don't know.
Nostalgia.
I fell
Woo.
out of love with it. Yeah.
I mean, remaster's pretty good. Did you play remaster of that game? Modern Warfare 2 remastered?
No, it's Modern Warfare remastered.
No, and 2 as well. Done 2 as well.
Really?
Yeah, it's on Battle.net. Have a look.
Oh, we'll check that out.
Check it out.
I thought it was just the first one that had been remastered. Is it just single player or is
For
it
now, but there's rumors that
right?
they're going
Okay,
to release the MP like imminently, so
okay. Well, definitely, yeah. Check that out for multiplayer.
check it out, man. The next game I'm looking forward to from the news this week is Shadow Warrior 3. I'm not sure you played 1 or 2, but 1 was a reboot of the 1997 classic from 3D Realms. 2013 it came out, and it was really good. It's kind of like a arena sort of Doom 2016 style shooter, linear story, bit of a wacky story.
So first person
Sorry,
shooter.
first person shooter, hack and slash kind as well. Like lots of melee combat, lots of like weird combos. It was good fun. Then number 2 came out like I think it was like 3 years later, Shadow Warrior 2, and they went full Borderlands. Like they took a linear kind of open level design, and they made it like Borderlands, like loot and shoot, all about the RPG stuff. And I personally thought it completely ruined it because it kind of took away from the mindless fun and just made it a bit kind of grindy, which didn't really suit Shadow Warrior. It's kind of strange. And then Shadow Warrior 3, they've really announced. It looks to be on a different engine, which is interesting. But I think they're going to go back to what made Shadow Warrior 2013 great, and that's just kind of like a mindless hack and slash, go forward, kill stuff, in a big story level. So we'll
And
see how that turns out.
what platforms is that on?
It's on PC and I think Xbox One.
Okay,
I'm not too sure about PS4, but yeah, check it out when you've got some time. It's good fun.
cool,
And finally, Crash Bandicoot 4. Have you seen
nice.
this?
I've heard the announcement. I've always been a big Crash fan since the PlayStation One days. What are they bringing that's new, if anything, or is it just sort of the same formula, pretty much, but next gen
So they
graphics?
said it's, yeah, so next gen graphics. They said it's built from the ground up engine wise on Unreal 4 this time and not on the engine the Insane Trilogy used, which I thought was good, but hey ho. So they're saying it's pretty much the direct sequel to Crash Bandicoot 3, like after all this time. So there's lots of new additions, like unique masks now for new obstacles, like a time mask that slows down time.
The
So
the bodyguard mask,
the
like
bodyguard one,
Aku
yeah,
Aku sort of thing.
Aku Aku was it? Okuga, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's looking honestly like just more Crash, really, just really, really, really good looking
Mm.
Crash game. So should be good.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how it's received. Like platformers, especially remakes, probably going to get strong criticism. So hopefully they can do well, and it's a good game. I'm sure we're going to be checking it out
We'll check it out in the future,
and let
definitely.
you
Yeah.
guys know. Was that all
I
of
think
the?
that wraps up the news. Yeah, let's move on to the Wall of Fame and or Shame.
Indeed. Let's show everyone what that looked like. There it is. So we've got 5 categories, and we are going to place a game each week within one of those. So starting with the worst, we've got Shameful Display. If you're a Total War fan, you'll probably get that reference. Next along is Epic Fail. In the middle, we've got Buy on Sale. So, obviously games you should buy on a discount if you can. Then we've got GG. And then we've got at the very end of the spectrum, Red Hot. You should go out
Like
and
me.
buy this game right now. So, with that in mind, Destroy All Humans. What did you
See,
think, Rob?
I haven't completed it yet, but I played the original one back when it came out. I played the original one again last week to catch up on it. And it's one of those games like it's not fantastic, but it's just a classic because it's so original and it's just full of character, right? And the remake does it justice because it somehow takes the gameplay that wasn't the best from the original, makes it tidier, more polished, more up to date, more fun. But it also makes everything else way better as well. So I actually think this is one of few remakes that is actually way better than the original game.
Really?
Definitely.
I
Even the art style change is
mm,
welcome because the original kind of went for realistic art style, but also goofy, whereas the remake seems to embrace the full goofy side, which is how it probably should have been in the first place, right?
I did hear a small complaint about the characters looking like dolls, uh, like the art style. I guess that's in reference to, but for me, it was just like, yeah, like you say, part of the goofy style of the game, really.
Yeah, I think it works in this case because it's goofy and it's. Yeah, I think it just works.
So I guess yeah, we should probably just explain what kind of game it is to start.
Yeah, go
It's
for it.
it's I guess you would say it's an open world third person shooter, but it does
I don't
the
know.
the bulk of the game is follows a linear story, but you can then explore an open world setting for like mini games and stuff like that.
I would say, just to interject, it's more of a linear story in sandbox levels.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah,
You play an alien and you can make people's heads explode with an anal probe. So I don't know what's not to like personally. um,
yeah. The writing's fantastic. It's ridiculous writing,
yeah, good.
decent voice acting.
Yeah, good voice acting, good story. It's quite funny. For
It's
me,
very funny.
like I hadn't played the original, so this was new. Um, initial thoughts going into it were, I wasn't sure if it was going to be really easy. Like, I was sort of breezing through it, but then there were bits with the stealth mechanics where, some missions you have to not get detected, and I was repeatedly getting caught, and I was like, oh, is this just going to be sort of one extreme to the other? But no, as the game went on, I started, really enjoying it. You can unlock more weapons, upgrades for your weapons, upgrades for your spaceship.
Little UFO, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. As the game goes on, it gets pretty good. I guess I'd say my one gripe with the weapons is that most of them seem a bit sort of underwhelming, like not doing enough damage. Like you have the
Oh, the,
electric,
the Zapomatic,
yeah,
yeah.
Zaphomatic. You have the
Anal
disintegrator
probe.
ray. They're both okay, but there's one weapon that's my favorite. It's the one that shoots the. It's like a mini nuke sort of thing.
Oh yeah, that's the Ep1, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see more of in the game. Like just ones that you can wreak absolute havoc with. But I guess the idea is that you're less powerful on land than you are in the spaceship. Like the
Yeah,
UFO
definitely.
has more power. So yeah, it's just I think it's a very enjoyable game. I've also not completed it yet, but I'm about 6 hours in, and for the asking price of £25 British.
For a fully remastered or remade game, not
Mm,
remastered, remade game. Yeah,
yeah,
you can't really argue. I think it's worth every
d-
penny, really.
I'm definitely thinking to put this in the good game section. GG.
Yeah, I
Um,
reckon. Yeah, GG as well. It would go red hot if, like you say, the combat felt a bit more rewarding.
mm.
But that's just carried from the first game. It was never really amazing. It was just fun, decent. You know.
You know what I think would make it be red hot category material, and that would be some sort of co-op or multiplayer element. If they had that on top, I think that would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
sort of just amazing. Could you imagine sort of
yeah.
running around tearing it up with, one or more
Two
friends?
cryptos.
Double the
Yeah,
cryptos.
yeah. That's a good idea, really.
So yeah,
Mm,
are you thinking sort of
no,
a
like I
tip
say,
in
I
Red
think
Hot, or are you thinking squarely in
I
GG?
reckon squarely in GG because it's a good game.
Mm.
It's good, good remake.
Yeah, I
There's
paid
only
full
one
price
complaint
and
actually I
I'm
have,
happy. Yeah, go on.
and well, from what I've read and from what I've witnessed as well a little bit, they censored some of the more dated humor, should we say, in the remake.
That's interesting because did you notice when you launched the game, there's a bit of a disclaimer there, and it seems to be sort of targeted at people who sort of might get offended by some of the material. It sort of says,
Yeah, yeah, I noticed that. Yeah,
it sort of says,
I think that's part of it.
this game came out, 15 years ago. Please bear in mind that some of the views and the material is maybe not
Dated.
not politically correct and whatnot.
There's one bit definitely like I noticed it. Second level where you abduct like some woman from a beauty pageant,
Hmm.
and when you abduct her, there was like a little quote by Crypto in the original. Like it's a bit rapey. It's not great,
A bit
but it was
rapey.
kind of funny because it's an alien. He anal probes people. It kind of fit the theme of the game.
Hmm.
The remake kind of like takes that quote out a little bit and cuts it short, so it's not so not so lewd.
Crypto's a great character, isn't he? Like he just wants
Oh,
to
brilliant,
annihilate
brilliant
everything,
voice. Yeah.
and just the way in the first mission, he's like he thinks that the cows are the rulers of the planet, and he starts talking to them, saying like, "Hey, I'm your new leader."
Yeah, they're like, huh? No, it's mindless fun. It's a great game.
Cool. All right.
GG it is.
GG. It is nice. Cool. All right. So yeah, Rob, what have you been up to? Been playing anything good other than Destroy All Humans?
apart from that, I've been playing Far Cry 5 because I still haven't finished it off. And obviously Far Cry 6 is coming out soon, so I've got a bit of catching up to do.
Take a long time to complete those sort of games, don't they?
Well, usually people just play it in like a few sittings, but I personally find open world games I need to do over a long period of time, otherwise I get mega bored.
Yeah.
But we're playing it again, well, picking it up again rather. It's actually a really good game. Like the art style's lovely, sounds great, writing's really good. Combat's varied enough, I suppose, to not get too boring.
Has the
Yeah, I
price
love the whole.
price gone
Sorry,
down presumably now then?
probably so. I mean, I bought it ages ago, but yeah, just having fun with it. It's I must admit the setting's really, really, really good. The whole Montana cult America setting, I'm really loving that. It's really believable as well. Like it feels like you're there when you're playing it. It's
What do you most like to do in the game?
I'm a bit of a completionist, so I'll go like from each point of the map, explore everything. Lay traps down, kill animals, get some money, buy some guns, customize my guns. Just the usual Far Cry stuff, really.
Like you do the whole skinning thing. Is that still a thing?
Skinning now, no, not anymore. No, now you just you do skin it, but now you just sell it for money. There's nothing really you make of it.
Right. You can't
Yeah,
craft.
so you can craft like Molotovs, traps, grenades, that sort of thing. It's basically they took Far Cry 3 and 4, kind of stripped some of it back, the stuff that was boring, like the radio towers, the skinning, and they made it more, I'd say, of an FPS where the main kind of gameplay is simpler, but other stuff as well is kind of improved, like just the general quest. Really, there's more stuff to do around the map. There's like a lot more random weird stuff. So no, I'd say it's probably my favorite Far Cry game, Far Cry 5 so far.
I saw the new Far Cry is gonna have the what do you call it? The image of the guy from Breaking Bad. You know, Gus Fring.
Oh, what's his face?
The
Giancarlo
the
Esposito.
the likeness. That's what I mean. It's gonna have his likeness, right?
Yeah, he's mocapping it, I think. But yeah, no, it looks good. It looks really cool.
He does make a
My
good
only
villain.
concern
So
is though, he does make a villain, but my only concern is with Far Cry 6. You look at the plot of the game or the summary, right? It's dictator
the
in
synopsis.
island synopsis. You look at the dictator island somewhere, probably Cuba. He's evil. Oh, his son's, by the way, he's like in training. I just think, hang on, that sounds like Far Cry 4 to me. Like dictator somewhere in the Indian mountains. It sounds the same to me personally, but
It's
it
the
won't be the
same, but
same,
this time
obviously.
we've got the guy from Breaking Bad. That's what it
Yes,
is.
and apparently it's in Cuba, so that's pretty cool.
That'll be a new
More of a,
location then, I'm guessing.
yeah, and apparently the map is like 4 times bigger than Far Cry 5's map, and that's already a huge map. So I look forward to
I
it.
don't know if just making bigger maps makes for a better game. I know that's like the whole,
That's the
selling point,
trend, though,
isn't
isn't
it?
it?
Like,
That's the
oh, this is
trend
the
now.
biggest map ever.
The biggest map ever so far. Yeah, no, I'm personally not a fan of that because it's too much to damn explore. But at least it'll be good to look at, I suppose.
With Destroy All Humans, like the locations are small, but there's a few of them, and they're all quite unique and just better designed. You could say. I'm not saying it's better designed than Far Cry, but there's an argument to be made that
What less is more.
quality, yeah, exactly, quality over quantity is better sometimes.
Yeah, I prefer smaller maps in games. I think it's more intimate and more cinematic, and I hate that word in games. But it is because it's more of a guided experience. Whereas, well, then with Far Cry 5 does it pretty well though. That's what I'm saying. It feels very rich when you play it, and the storyline, the bits when you do get into the quest for story, is very well done. Far Cry 5. So hopefully 6 follows 5, and will be good.
Yeah, so the Far Cry games for me, like, it just annoys me when I don't, when a game doesn't engross me enough that I complete it. And with Far Cry, that's usually the case. Like, it will keep me on board for a while, but then I'll just get to a point where I I just don't really want to play it anymore. I don't want to invest any more
You'll hit a
time.
wall.
Yeah,
Mm.
and to me, that's just a sign that a game could be better, really. But
Yeah, well,
mm,
game of Far Cry 5, like, it's got an expansion pack called New Dawn. It's a direct sequel to 5 because 5 story is actually really, really good. So New Dawn picks up after it, supposedly. And but looking at the gameplay of New Dawn, they've gone again. They've gone the Shadow Warrior 2 route. They've taken a game that's not at all about loot and shoot and health bars on people's heads and levels of people, and they've put it in. It's like, well, why am I fighting a level 10 gorilla or whatever? That's just really strange. Like, that's not Far Cry at all, you know?
mm,
So, New Dawn's my next one to do before Far Cry 6, but I'll probably play that one a bit reluctantly, though, you know, I must admit. I hate those kind of loot and shoot things, but apart from Borderlands is cool, but yeah, I don't know. Just like you say, sometimes less is more, you know?
mm. There's a lot of looting in Far Cry, is there? Or
Not really, apart from a quick body search, that's it. Just for money,
you
you know?
just have to pat down every guy you kill, sort of thing. If you,
In 3 and 4 you did, whereas 5 is just you press enter or E and done.
I prefer the good old days where you just run over a corpse and you just pick up
Yeah, yeah.
whatever's on there. It just seems like a
That
delay tactic, doesn't it?
it's filler. I mean, that's what I'm saying though. 5 does it well where you still have the looting, but it's really quick. Like you go to body, press a key, looted, done. Whereas
Yeah,
3 and 4 is like, let me just get into this animation and bend down and rummage through your pockets. And it's like, well, this is boring, you know?
yeah, yeah. I've definitely seen that in several games where it takes way too long, but you
Yeah.
just can't resist, can you? You just have to get that loot.
You need that loot. So how about you? What have you been playing recently?
So, other than Destroy All Humans, I've jumped on to Company of Heroes 2 with you for a bit, playing a bit of multiplayer.
Yep, you
So,
finally installed it
yeah, well,
or bought it,
I
either
did
way.
I did have it installed. It's just that I tried to get into it via the campaign, as I think is pretty normal to do, and just the campaign kind of sucked. So I never really made it into multiplayer, really. But yeah, having jumped into multiplayer, I can see the appeal. It did remind me quite a bit of Warhammer 40k Dawn of War, in that
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
the you've got the fixed like camera angle that you can't zoom out really far on, and so it's quite a focused view. And yeah,
You
there's
can
just
rotate though, you know.
yeah, you can rotate. Yeah, it's just quite a claustrophobic view, and you sort of have to. I found it quite difficult to sort of navigate between what was going on effectively, and I was like losing time,
Mm.
probably at disadvantage. I was probably really not that helpful to you guys because I was I was
Oh
like
yeah.
brand new to the game pretty much. So
No, 3v3 or was it a 4v4? One of the two, wasn't it?
I believe it was a 3v3.
Maybe. But yeah, I mean, Company of Heroes, I find, or any RTS really, it's not really about the campaign. The campaign's just a bit naff, I'd say. It's only good for the storyline, but
See, with Dawn of
it's all
War
about
for
the
me,
skirmishes, you know.
in Dawn of War for me, it was all about the campaign. That
Yeah.
I'd really enjoyed that. Yeah.
For me, it's about those skirmishes, man. There's online games, there's rushes, the pure wrecking of someone, you know.
Mm.
Competitive gameplay, should I say?
Yeah, I know what you mean, and it's pretty tough and it's intense. For me, I don't know if I prefer a bit of a more relaxed like campaign experience, like to go up against. I think we got matched up with like what were they, Chinese players, and they were just ridiculous level, and
Yeah, they were
yeah,
Chinese.
yeah. So it's tough.
You must admit that the gameplay, the meta of Company Heroes 1 and 2,
Mm.
it's very unique. Like the suppression for the MGs you get, the cover system, the fog
Yeah.
system, the tree sight system, the weather. It's all very, I find it's quite still pretty special, really, because not many games do that, you know?
It's a lot to think about in heat of battle.
There is a
You know,
lot to
you got
think about.
mortars,
Yeah.
artillery, snipers, regular soldiers. You got abilities on units. You know, grenades, rifle grenades. God
Rifle
knows,
grenades, yeah.
God knows what else, man. Like there's a lot going on, and you really need to be on the ball to win. I think. You know, you've obviously got flanking maneuvers. You got the boundaries
Flanking
of the
maneuvers,
map to think about.
retreating, yeah.
You got,
Smoke,
you know, the resource points. Yeah, lots to do.
territory management, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Would you recommend it, though, over, let's say, Command and Conquer Remastered, maybe?
Um,
Because
I,
I
th- I
find
think.
even though they're both RTS games, I find they're both at different ends of the spectrum, I'd say. Whereas Command and Conquer is more about you build your little base and you kind of have fun with that. Whereas Company Heroes is more about you build a small base and your army is literally everything and the way you control them, you know?
Mm, yeah, I guess I don't know. I wouldn't really compare it to Command and Conquer, but I do appreciate it is kind of the same
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
kind of. Yeah,
Obviously,
kind of.
Command and Conquer is way less, way sort of earlier in terms of features and.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Can't compare it that way.
But from what I've played, yeah, I would. If I'd probably say like if you can get it on a sale, like I don't know to be honest what it's reselling at right now, but you could definitely have a lot of fun if you can get some friends on board. You know, teaming up, strategizing between yourselves, trying to cut people off, flank people, implement your own strategies, and yeah, it could be pretty fun. And hopefully, I can get good and we can actually win a game. Where so I think we did win a game, but it was only because one person left and like the other was AFK. so,
Basically a 2v4, yeah.
so yeah,
It's funny, there was one time with our developer friend, you know,
the
he was
mystery
playing with
developer.
us, the mystery developer. He was playing with us, and he put down like a small bomb charge near a point, and this other player must have walked over with like probably 6 squads of infantry. So that's like there's 6 in a squad. So what's 6 times 6? 36 troops. So went to this point to capture it, and he just blew all of them up, like 6 squads in one go. The guy just rage quit straight away because that's a lot of men in that game. 6 squads is like half of your army, basically. That's insane.
Yeah, and the meta is very much like don't lose your squad. Like it doesn't matter if you take
Oh yeah,
losses, but just get your squad out of there, back to base,
yeah,
RTB, and heal them back up.
yeah. 6 squads just gone, dust.
The game doesn't
Yeah,
make it clear like how you actually heal though, because what I was doing when I was like comp stomping was once the unit got to a particular level, they could then like they had access to a med kit, so they could just heal themselves, and that's what I was doing. It just doesn't. It's not obvious how you actually heal
it's not
your
obvious. No,
troops.
there's about 5 ways. There's med kits on troops. There's an ambulance you can build your base. You can get a medic station, a medic bunker.
Mm.
You can get forward
And what about vehicles?
HQs.
Don't your
Some vehicles.
your builder
Yeah.
units repair them? Is that what it is?
No, the builders repair tanks.
Mm.
Ambulance has little men in it. They jump out and heal men. So
Right.
yeah, it's not clear. It's not. It's a very intense game, man. You'll get it eventually. We'll get there. We can do some streams maybe of you learning and getting whooped.
I just wish it would let you zoom out more. I know the game wouldn't really work like that, but I just hate being so zoomed in. And I turn the
Maybe it's your screen you have because on my screen it's actually quite pleasant to play. I don't know. What have you got? Ultra wide.
yeah, it is ultra widescreen, 21:9. But I
Could be
did
that.
at least they have a UI scale slider in the game, which you don't always get, and so you know the UI menu around the corners of the screen you can make it smaller. But I found even on the smallest setting, like I was just constantly sort of trying to zoom out, but you just have to get used to it, really. Obviously, it's a bit of an older game. You're a big fan of it, though, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're making number 3 soon. I hope they do. It's been confirmed, but they take forever making their games.
Mm.
I think they're busy at the moment. Relic. They're working on Age of Empires 4 for Microsoft, so that should be very interesting. A Relic style Age of Empires game should be very cool.
Mm. Yeah,
We'll
I
have to
do
check it
do
out at a
appreciate a
later
Relic
date.
game.
Yeah, definitely. Relic are very niche, I find.
Mm. All right, that about wraps up today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. What did you think about where Destroy All Humans was placed on the wall? Yeah, let us know down in the comments below what you think. Remember to subscribe as we've got loads more content on the way. We also have a Discord server where you can hang out with us. Links to all the socials and so on will be in the description below. Until next time, keep destroying those humans.